Hi everyone, a very warm welcome to our program Catalyst, a one-to-one life skill coaching program. So the first question that comes to my mind is why the name Catalyst? So the immediate example that comes to me is the role of clarified butter in fire. Aag mein ghee ka kaam, as we say that, right? So fire is fire, it is having its own chemical reaction, but the moment you add a catalyst like ghee, it speeds up the reaction. And that is the objective of this program, that you may have some destinations, some goals set up from you, but how to speed up them. So as the punchline says, it will speed up your personal growth and gets you going in life. Alright guys, first thing first, why this learning, change and growth has so much importance in our life? What do you think? So there is a saying by Tony Robbins that if you are not growing, then you are dying. Now literally he doesn't mean we are dying, but let me give you an example of money in the bank. So suppose you have kept money in the bank, you are getting some interest also there. So in a way you will always presume you are growing. But on a longer span, 10 years, 20 years, if you go back and reflect, possibly the money will not hold the same value it was there 20 years back. And right, this is all because of inflation. So even a money which is giving you some interest, even if it is not going, it is stagnating and it is decaying. And that's what he's trying to say, that if you are not growing, you are dying. Now, the only option is to grow in life. So the immediate thing comes, then what is stopping that growth to happen? So the question is, why this growth is so hard to come? So I have 11 compelling reasons for that. We'll go one on each. So the number one reason is conflicting commitments. And as I say, avoid them. Now what are that? I want to be in a shape, I want a healthy body, but I don't want to leave that food which I love. I don't want to leave that pizza, chole bhature, whatever it is. I want to really start with my business, but then I can't leave my job also. There is a process for that. Don't be in that conflicting commitment situation. So that's not possible. Now the solution is, I will say, simplify. Simplify your life, see where we fit, what are our priorities, and that is where the role of Catalyst comes, where we try to simplify these things with you and get you high on your prioritization list, what is really important for you at this particular moment. And then definitely, together as a team, we are going to chase that thing. So the number two reason is uncomfortable situations. And as I say, face them. Remember, if it doesn't challenge you, it will never change you. So sometimes you have to see them as opportunity to growth. Change and growth never happens in comfort zone. For example, if I put you in front of 100 people and just ask you to talk for 2 minutes, will you be comfortable? I'm sure most of us won't. But for some reasons, if you manage that and somehow deliver that speech, won't it be wonderful? Will you ever be the same person? No. That's how the growth happens. You have accepted that uncomfortable situation and allowed yourself to grow in that moment. Number three reason is difficult conversation, and do not put them on hold. As somebody has said, quality of our life is equal to quality of conversations that we have. Yes, it is challenging. Yes, you might think what will happen, but those are the conversations where growth is hidden. So go ahead, you have to face them. So number four reason is around the stories that your mind create. Don't follow them, they are virtual. So as they say, fear is real, but action will cure fear. So whether it is our fear, phobia, procrastination, delays, doubts, these are all mind games, right? Which is real for that individual, no doubt about it. But then don't fall for it. Learn from it. I talk a lot about it in my training program, Mindshift Blueprint. Go ahead, check that program out, and you will find a lot of value there. So number five reason is your flaws. Never be ashamed of them. Accept the way you are. Yes, there can be shortcomings, but as they say, every master was once a disaster. So accept them and improve them. Number six reasons is failure. Accept the failure. It will happen. It's a part and parcel of journey. So how do I see every failure is a feedback? Now whether we take that feedback and apply it in future, it's very important rather than just being struck with that failure. It's a given thing, accept the failures. Number 7, all or nothing mode. I call it as perfectionist syndrome. Don't believe in it. It's not realistic. As they say, Rome was not built in a day. So it's not either or this. You have steps, baby steps to take, and be reasonable there. Now lay out these steps and follow one by one. Either and or doesn't exist. Number 8 reason is being judgmental in life. So what I'll say, don't be judgmental, but be curious. Look towards the life with more curiosity, with more curious question that is it so, rather than this is what it is. And that is one major roadblock in our growth. Along with this, try to be a very good listener and staying in the moment. That will help you to observe life in a much better way. So number 9 is ignoring the growth tools. I call know-it-all syndrome. Alright? Don't fall for it. So as it is written, learn until you earn. So learning has a very important role in our life. And for that learning, you need certain tools. Now if you don't have those tools, don't be ashamed to ask for help. And that is where a role of a coach comes in. Number 10 reason is place your own happiness number 1 on your priority list. At times we feel doing things for our own self, pampering our whole self is selfish. No, that is your duty. That is your number 1 duty. And that is what will enhance self-confidence, self-awareness, self-image, and simply speaking, that will enhance your growth. So unapologetically put your happiness at number 1 spot every single time. And last, number 11 reason, don't accommodate. Be you. Always be yourself, love yourself. Don't follow the crowd. Don't follow for rat race. Try to develop self-love. Try to develop your own journey. Look for the things that you love, professionally, personally, both. And as they say, be you, because everything else is being taken off. So be you, and that's how you be beautiful. You become beautiful. In my book, Miracles of Mind Shift, there is a tool called Swadharma. Anybody is interested, you can go ahead and see that book where I extensively talk about only this reason. And it is very important to understand this in a thorough way. So now next thing that comes is what a coach can do to me. So we have life dramas happening all around. We have dilemmas, we have decision making, we have goals to achieve. And at times we feel that we lack certain resources, we lack certain tools. And this is where the role of a coach comes. And just by applying simple tricks, understanding this, the simple tricks there, you can speed up that growth process in your life. Alright, so with this understanding, let's see what is coaching, what is not coaching, and what are the tools that we use as a coach. What is coaching? To understand that, let's start with a very simple question, that what exactly is not coaching. Okay, the first thing comes to mind is therapy. So normally a therapist will work on a particular issue as described by an individual. It will go and heal into that particular past issue and will fix it. Whereas in coaching, we understand there is always a root cause, a underlying behavior beside or beneath the particular said issue. So it is there on that root cause where we try to work as a coach and completely heal the issue so that those results can reflect in future for that particular individual. So next thing that comes to mind is psychotherapist. A psychotherapist will deal with that particular issue with counseling, but he will give or use the aid of a medicine also. While in coaching, we don't suggest any kind of medicine. It's all about a particular questionnaire that we follow. The third thing which comes into mind is counseling. A counselor will normally lead from the front. They will provide you with all the data, a complete roadmap to the success, and they have all the answers to your question. While as in coaching, we believe in leading from behind. We allow the client to set up his own data, to set up his own roadmap to success with his own limitations and pace to follow it. Yes, fourth and the last thing that comes to my mind is mentorship. So a mentor is a person who belongs to that industry, which that person has lot of experience in that particular field. So he is like been there, done that, all those things. We can learn and shape many things from their experience. So generally they are the person whom we can learn from. While a coach is a person you can learn with. They will move with you in a partnership. They may or may not be from the same industry, but this partnership and trust grows with a common goal which is oriented by the individual. What is coaching? So coaching is a human development tool used to maximize an individual's personal and professional growth. So professional coaching is a very different type of approach. Lot of asking questions, not much of telling, not much of answers. Primarily we are focused in tapping into your resourcefulness, focused on you designing your own goals, your own future, and at your pace. They are very thought provoking and inspirational and can be life changing. So that way coaching really works. Many a times we find ourselves in one particular situation. We are doing very well in certain areas of life, but then in couple of areas we find ourselves stuck. We don't know what's happening, how to come out, and what is the way out from this situation. And from that situation we want to go to a desired situation. To name a few, it can be to have a better personality, improving wealth, money issues, better relationships, healthy relationships, better health physically and mentally, and to gain more emotional intelligence. But then there is a huge gap in between my present and desired situation, and on top of this there is a rope in between. So rope is my resistance to bridge this gap. Can be my limiting beliefs, my parental values, my childhood values, but there are resistance in bridging these gaps. Same way there are obstacles, can be money, partnership, any issues here. There are problems to deal with, personality, orders, time management, family, work-life balance, and eventually we have to evaluate them. So to counteract this rope, we have an excellent tool in coaching called as NLP. Namely stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming. And how this NLP can help you in reaching from your present to your desired situation. Do watch my next video on NLP. What is NLP? Now there is a huge gap, and to cover this gap, NLP is the tool which can help us. So in simply putting, NLP here acts as a boat where you will be carried with your coach towards your desired situation. So here NLP acts as a boat to counteract the ropes. Yes. So second explanation of the same NLP is to see NLP as a very powerful mind tool in terms of manifestation, in terms of decision making, in terms of doing a thing. It acts as a very, very powerful mind tool. To understand it better, let's split the three words NLP separately and understand them individually. Okay. So as it say, N, the full form goes as neuro or neurology, which represents our brain. So brain is a physical entity which perceives information and kind of processes the same. But how does it takes information? How does it takes data? It takes data through our five senses. So naming them, visual, the eyes, audible, what we can hear, kinesthetic, we can touch, olfactory, we can smell, and last but not least, gustatory. which we can taste. So all this data are processed by the brain and then they get stored as an impression into us, and the process of same is the component here, neurology. How our mind and our nervous system perceives, makes the perception and then stores as a meaning of the same. So L stands for linguistic or language. We can simply say it is the language of our brain, or the brain which sees and then perceives the information in terms of neural representation. Okay. Now to communicate with this neural representation, you need a language. That language here is explained by L, linguistic. If in simple terms I have to explain, in terms of computer, it is the binary system of computers which we use 0 and 1 as two codes. In terms of human being, I can simply put it as verbal and non-verbal communication. Verbal will consist of my words, the words which we use, the pitch of those words, the tonality of that words that I have used, and the non-verbal will be the body posture, eye contact, my physiology, my breathing pattern. All these things will be covered as a non-verbal part of this language. One more aspect is here in L is about the communication that we do with others, interpersonal, and the communication or the self-talk which we do with ourselves, or which we call as intrapersonal. That is also a part of this L here in NLP. So P stands for programming. In simple terms, it has been taken from the computer industry, the word programming. We can define it as a process of developing and then implementing various sets of instruction to do a certain task or to get a desired result. In other words, we can say it is a resultant behavior from our past experiences or from the memories that has been stored there. It is a resultant behavior. And if the programming is correct, you will always get the desired result. But if this programming is not correct, you will never ever get the desired result. So now what to do? What to do is exactly here where NLP can help us. It can help us in reprogramming this structure or changing the means of how this data is stored within us. So that brings us to the thing that what NLP has to offer, what it can do to me, what it can do to us, and what are the benefits of NLP. NLP can help us in various aspects of life. It's a very wide range and large scope of things it can cover. But to name a few and to start with, it can be used as an excellent personal development tools, where the structures of phobias, fear, limiting beliefs can be raised and can be filled up with the same structures of confidence. Secondly, it can be used as excellent performance enhancement tool. If you are doing well, still there are things to be achieved, still you can excel from the level X to go up. The third thing where NLP can help us in the quality of our communication skills, both interpersonal with each other and intrapersonal with self. As somebody suggested, that quality of our life is nothing else but the quality of communication we had with others. So keeping that thing in mind, communication in life is very, very important, and this is exactly where NLP can help us. It can also help us in understanding and improving relationships. All relationships can be understood better and improved with the help of NLP. And last thing, it can work as an excellent wellness tool. As somebody suggests that health is a state of mind, and both are very, very much directly connected with each other. Guys, last but not the least, I want to remind you of one simple thing, that in order to understand something, you have to act. So act now. So guys, in order to understand anything, we must act. But then, what is this action? What is this all about? So, the distance between your dreams and your goals is called action. We have seen that in our present situation and our desired situation, there is a gap. And the activity that bridges that gap is called as action. But then, have you thought why taking this action is so hard? Why do we procrastinate? Why do we delay? Why just can't straight away go and do things? So, as I have seen, doing the activity is not a problem. It's just at the starting point which is the main challenge. I'll say it again, doing the activity is not a problem. It's just that the starting point is the main challenge. You really think so? I'll give you one simple example. Now consider a scenario, let's say you were to go to some marriage, some big party, alright? So immediately you'll start thinking about what to wear, what not to wear, what others will be wearing there, or what will be the scenario, how the environment will start shaping you up. So let's say in the end you have a decision to make red dress and blue dress, and for some reasons you pick blue. Now what? You wear that dress and then onwards everything flows smoothly, like you got to take a drive, pick a cab, reach the place, attend, meet people, everything else will flow, right? Everything else will come a soothing flow. But it's just the first step which is so hard to take. And reason for that, please note it down, it is very important. It is because the environment is stronger than the willpower. I'll say it again. It is because the environment is stronger than the willpower. Now quickly discuss couple of examples. The first thing comes to me is that airport marketing strategy. Like quite often we come out of immigration and we go to the baggage clearing area, and they design it in such a way that you have to pass through all those shopping. And what happens, even if I'm not planning to buy something, I'll say okay, let's pick something else up. Alright. Another thing comes to me is like co-working spaces, especially in these days. You're all trying to work from home, which can be done. You have all the accessibilities, but still we pay some X amount of money to go to a co-working space and work there. Why? And the reason is environment, and that is how positively it is impacting you. But at times it kinds of grips on us, all right? And that is why I say it is stronger than willpower. So for example, let's say for today I have decided I'll not take a drink, but I'll go to my friend's place. Everybody will be doing that, and in a way I am compelled against my wishes also to do that. Now what exactly happens? Suppose you have a big thing to do. Now it doesn't happen on the day you have to do that thing. It happens much before, a week, a month before. The moment you start thinking about that activity, oh my God, I need to do this, I need to do that, and slowly what will happen? And this environment starts empowering you. Either we find a solution or we start procrastinating about it, knowingly, unknowingly. All right. But the key here is to take action anyway. The core line could be only your manifestation, only your thinking, only your meditation cannot manifest thing. Action is equally required. All right. So action, whether it is internal or external, a blend of it is required for things to manifest at a faster pace. So last thing, as I know, there are 7 days in a week, and nothing is called that someday, one day, some other time. All right, it's all about today, and it's all about now, and that is the power of now. So guys, from my side, a simple strategy as to how to deal with this environment. So I'll call it as 3A strategy. So first A stands for anticipate. From beginning only you anticipate things and start preparing yourself. How would it look like, feel like, smell like, what all things I need to do. Anticipate them well in advance and start preparing for them. For example, I have a training session. So I start preparing, start anticipating how the crowd will sit, what will be their sitting arrangement, what would be the air conditioning, how would be the visuals, how would be the audible quality. So all those things I anticipate, and I prepare in advance so that on that day it's a cakewalk for me. So as they say, start by doing something which is necessary, then do what is possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. And second A here could be avoid. So do not focus too much on things that you want to do, because that keep on coming up. Instead focus on what to avoid not doing, right? And that way your planning will be much better. That way all that unnecessary element you will eliminate, and you will finally reach to those points which are really required for that activity to happen. And the third and the final A is adjust. Now things that you cannot avoid, you will have to adjust with them. And when I say adjust, it's not like compromise, it's like molding yourself. And this is my core belief also, that I can't control the direction and speed of the wind, but I can control my sails to always reach my destination. What does this mean? That we have very little control on the environment. The things we cannot avoid, we'll have to adjust. And what? Adjust the sails, use that wind to reach your destination. And finally guys, in this module I have attached a self-assessment sheet which I call Wheel of Life. Just download, take a printout and really fill it up. There are 4 questions, answer them and do a self-assessment that where do you right now stand in your life. Which area requires strengthening and which area you are doing good. And if you feel that is where we can pitch in and help you enhancing that particular area of your life. And right, coaching is nothing but all about creating an action plan for you. A plan that will move you from where you are to where you want to be. In that regard, coaching acts as catalyst for us, and that's how this name has been derived, catalyst. So no matter where you are stuck at life, a coach will hold your hand and guide you along the way until you reach your destination. The prime focus in Catalyst for us is to look for various aspects of your life. It can be your health, wealth, finance, relationships, work transitions, sports, or simply choosing a new career or a new action to make the life what one wants it to be. So take action now. I have a form attached here. So just fill that form up, connect with us. Who knows, we can be a catalyst in your life's growth. Thank you guys. Thank you for being in this course, and let's see you around working together as a team sometime. Thank you.